So every day, a huge number of consumers interact with services online that are provided to them at a price of zero. And interestingly, a lot of the firms that are providing these services number amongst the largest companies in the world today. Now, these kind of zero-price markets pose specific challenges for competition and consumer protection authorities. I'm joined here with my colleague Dries, who's a consumer protection expert, and we're going to be talking just a very little bit about some of the issues that will be discussed during the upcoming joint meeting of the Competition and Consumer Policy Committees on the subject of quality considerations in the zero-price economy. Now, I think the reason why we're talking about quality is because when you have a price of zero, it's really the only measure that we have of the terms of the exchange between providers of zero-price services and the consumers of those services. So the OECD prepared a background note that will kind of serve to start the discussion, and it kind of discusses three broad themes. Now, the first is just the importance of understanding the business models underlying the provision of goods for a price of zero before you kind of get into the stage of assessing whether there are competition problems. The second is about kind of more practical challenges that come up, and these might be analytical challenges, so establishing dominance or defining markets for competition authorities, but they might also be legal challenges. So there are always, debates in some jurisdictions about whether a price of zero means that competition law even applies in the first place. Now, I think that the third issue is going to be particularly interesting, and that's why we're very lucky to have Dries here with us, which is kind of the consumer dimension. So I'm wondering, Dries, do you think that zero-price markets, is it particularly important for competition and consumer protection authorities to cooperate with each other in these markets?
Well, yes, James, absolutely so, I think. I think very often we don't really know what we're looking at, what kind of problem we're dealing with. And we could actually be looking at it from both angles and come to very different conclusions, where I think that we, in the end, would want an integrated approach, as we're both interested by the well-functioning of markets.
Right. Oh, that's very interesting. So what would this kind of approach look like? Is it just kind of informal cooperation, or could it go beyond that?
Yeah, I think it could be on very different levels. I think, first of all, you want to identify what kind of problem we're dealing with and who actually has jurisdictional powers to do something about it. Then secondly, I think you may want to discuss what tools you will actually most effectively apply to solve the issue. And even I think we could go together in terms of doing advocacy towards legislators and see what next steps should be taken to further tackle these issues.
That sounds really interesting, and I know that we were talking a little bit earlier as well about the behavioral economics expertise of consumer protection authorities. So do you think that could kind of complement as well?
Yes, absolutely. I think usually consumer authorities have quite some elaborate expertise that might be very useful for competition authorities to understand how consumers actually react to business behavior. So that could help us really analyze the issues and solve them effectively.
That's very interesting. Well, thank you so much, Dries. And we're looking forward to a very interesting discussion in November. So stay tuned on our website for any further materials.
Thank you.